Alright, y'all, so I'm back with another Bible reading for today. I'm on 2 Chronicles 32, page 388 to 389. I probably shouldn't have stopped doing these every day because now it's hard for me to remind myself to do them every day, but I'm still reading my Bible every day. I just don't post a video. So I'm going to start trying to get back into that habit of posting a video every day because I think it's good for me to help practice on just like talking out loud and reading out loud as well. But for right now, since it's pretty cool outside, I'm going to try to read these 2 pages. I already read this, so now I'm on this section right here and this page. And hopefully later on tonight, I'll read another 2 pages just so I can, get like 4 pages out every day because I think that'd be good. But for right now, I'm just going to start. King Sennacherib of Assyria asked, "Do you think you can survive my siege of Jerusalem? King Hezekiah is trying to persuade you to commit suicide by staying there, to die by famine and thirst, while he promises that the Lord our God will deliver us from the king of Assyria. Don't you realize that Hezekiah is the very person who destroyed all the idols and commanded Judah and Jerusalem to use only the one altar at the temple and to burn incense upon it alone? Don't you realize that I and the other kings of Assyria before me have never yet failed to conquer a nation we attacked? The gods of those nations weren't able to do a thing to save them, to save their lands. Name just one time when anyone anywhere was able to resist us successfully. What makes you think your God can do any better? Don't let Hezekiah fool you. Don't believe him. I say it again. No God of any nation has ever yet been able to rescue his people from me or my ancestors. How much less your God?" Thus the ambassador mocked the Lord God and God's servant Hezekiah, heaping up insults. King Sennacherib also sent letters scorning the Lord God of Israel. "The gods of all the other nations failed to save their people from my hand, and the God of Hezekiah will fail too." He wrote, the messengers who brought the letter shouted threats in the Jewish language to the people gathered on the walls of the city, trying to frighten and dishearten them. These messengers talked about the God of Jerusalem just as though he were one of the heathen gods, a handmade idol. Then King Hezekiah of Israel, the prophet, son of Amoz, cried out in prayer to God in heaven, and the Lord sent an angel who destroyed the Assyrian army with all its officers and generals. So Sennacherib returned home in deep shame to his own land, and when he arrived at the temple of his God, some of his own sons killed him there. That is how the Lord saved Hezekiah and the people of Jerusalem. And now there was peace at last throughout his realm. From then on, Hezekiah became immensely respected among the surrounding nations, and many gifts for the Lord arrived at Jerusalem, with valuable presents from King Hezekiah too. For King Hezekiah too. But about that time, Hezekiah became deathly sick, and he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord replied with a miracle. However, Hezekiah didn't respond with true thanksgiving and praise, for he had become proud, and so the anger of God was upon him, and upon Judah and Jerusalem. But finally, Hezekiah and the residents of Jerusalem humbled themselves, so the wrath of the Lord did not fall upon them during Hezekiah's lifetime, not style. So Hezekiah became very wealthy and was highly honored. He had to construct special treasury buildings for his silver, gold, precious stones, and spices, and for his shields and gold bowls. He also built many storehouses for his grain and wine and olive oil, and many stalls for his animals, and folds for the great flocks of sheep and goats he purchased. And he acquired many towns, for God had given him great wealth. He dammed up the upper spring. He damped up No, it's dammed, yeah. Dammed up the upper spring of Gihon, or of Gihon. Gihon, and brought the water down through an aqueduct. I have no idea what that word is, to the west side of the city of David, sector in Jerusalem. He prospered in everything he did. However, when ambassadors arrived from Babylon to find out about the miracle of his being healed, God left him to himself in order to test him and to see what he was really like. The rest of the story of Hezekiah and all of the gods and all of the good things he did are written in the book of Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, and in the annuals of the kings of Judah and Israel. When Hezekiah died, he was buried in the royal hillside country among the other kings, and all Judah and Jerusalem honored him at his death. Then his son Manasseh, Manasseh, became the new king. Manasseh was only 12 years old when he became king, and reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. But it was an evil reign, for he encouraged his people to worship the idols of the heathen nations destroyed by the Lord when the people of Israel entered the land. He rebuilt the heathen altars his father Hezekiah had destroyed, the altars of Baal and the shame images and of sun and moon and stars. I'm not too sure exactly what that means, and I didn't read it. Well, He destroyed the altars of Baal and of the shame images and of the sun, moon, and stars. He even constructed heathen altars in both courts of the temple of the Lord for worshiping the sun, moon, and stars, in the very place where the Lord had said that he would be honored forever. And he sacrificed his own children as burnt offerings in the valley of Hammon. He counseled spirit mediums too, and fortune tellers, and sorcerers, and encouraged every sort of evil, making the Lord very angry. Think of it. He placed an idol in the very temple of God, where God had told David and his son Solomon, "I will be honored here in this temple and in Jerusalem, the city I have chosen to be honored forever above all the other cities of Israel. And if you will only obey my commandments, or my commands, all the laws and instructions given to you by Moses, I won't ever again exile Israel from this land which I gave your ancestors." But Manasseh encouraged the people of Israel. Judah. What am I saying? But Manasseh encouraged the people of Judah and Jerusalem to do even more evil than the nations the Lord destroyed when Israel entered the land. Sorry about that, a bug flew into my backpack. Warnings from the Lord were ignored by both Manasseh and his people, so God sent the Assyrian armies, and they seized him with hooks and bound him with bronze chains, and carted him away to Babylon. Then at last he came to his senses and cried out humbly to God for help. And the Lord listened and answered his plea by returning him to Jerusalem and to his kingdom. At that point, Manasseh finally realized that the Lord was really God. It was after this that he rebuilt the outer walls of the city of David and the wall from west of the spring of Gihon in the Kidron Valley, and then to the Fish Gate, and around Citadel Hill, where it was built very high. And he stationed his army's generals in all the fortified cities of Judah. He also removed the foreign gods from the hills, and took his idols from the temple, and tore down the altars he had built on the mountains where the temple stood, and the altars that were in Jerusalem, and dumped them outside the city. Then he rebuilt the altar of the Lord and offered sacrifices upon it, peace offerings and thanksgiving offerings, and demanded that the people of Judah worship the Lord God of Israel. However, the people still sacrificed upon the altars on the hills, but only to the Lord their God. The rest of Manasseh's deeds and his prayers to God and God's reply through the prophets, this is all written in the annals of the kings of Israel. His prayer and the way God answered, and a frank account of his sins and errors, including a list of the locations where he built idols on the hills and set up shame idols and graven images. This, of course, was before the great change in his attitude, is recorded in the annals of the prophets. Okay, so that was 2 pages for today. Tomorrow, hopefully I'll come out again if it's not too hot, and if I wake up early. Today's the first day in a minute where I actually got up at 6 and I was able to stay awake. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that I can keep doing that, because I feel a lot better and I feel a lot more awake. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be out here again pretty early and I'll be able to read my Bible again. But if not, that's okay. I'll read it inside. So for now, that's going to be it. I should have more videos coming out pretty soon here. I'm going to go inside and edit one of my videos, and then I'll try to release that, and then I'll start working on some other stuff. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope y'all all have an amazing day. I pray that y'all stay safe. So yeah, peace out. Thank you for watching this video.